this is a very important video. It's explaining why I haven't been here for gaming. I have been in ICU with my 6-year-old child who has developed type 1 diabetes. Type 1 diabetes has got nothing to do with lifestyle habits like eating lollies, drinking soft drink, takeaway. It's got nothing to do with that. Type 1 diabetes is where the pancreas doesn't produce the insulin for the whole body. So it doesn't break down what it should to provide the energy basically for the body to keep running. So type 1 diabetes can develop at any age, but it appears before the age of 40, particularly in childhood. Around 10% of all diabetes is type 1. In type 1, the pancreas is a small gland behind the stomach, progressively reduces the amount of insulin, the hormone that regulates blood glucose levels, it produces until it stops producing any at all. If the amount of glucose in the blood is too high in overtime, it can seriously damage the body's organs. So what I meant I was in ICU is my son's blood sugars were 35 over what they're normally meant to be between 4 and 9, basically. The diabetes symptoms that we were maintaining and watching first was there's 5. So feeling thirsty, passing urine, very tired, rapid weight loss, and then persistent infections such as thrush. So my 6-year-old was developing all 5 of those over the course of 5 months. His GP was going, it's a phase, it's a phase, it's a phase, it's a phase. And I'm like, nope, enough is enough. Something needs to be done. We requested a new doctor after 5 months of back-to-back knockbacks. And we saw one doctor on Friday just gone, and he put us into ICU immediately, basically after 2. So they test their blood and they test their urine. And there's cells. Something about the cells in urine shows the level of basically type 1 diabetes. Symptoms of type 1 diabetes can usually develop very quickly in young people over a few hours or days. In adults, the symptoms can take longer to develop, weeks or a few days to weeks. The cause of type 1 diabetes is an autoimmune condition where the immune system basically mistakes the cells in your pancreas as harmful and attacks them. So his body was fighting himself. Without the insulin help, the body will break down its own fat, muscle, resulting in the weight loss. So that's where the rapid weight loss came into play. It can lead to a serious short-term condition called diabetic ketosis. Don't hate me if I say that wrong. To anyone that is watching that is a nurse, I apologize. This is when the bloodstream becomes acidic and develops dangerous levels of ketones in the blood system and becomes severely dehydrated. So SJ was basically put on 3 bags of fluid. He was dehydrated a lot, even though he was drinking while he was still dehydrated, because his body was trying to keep it going, basically. So treating the type 1 diabetes is by insulin injection. So either the needle, the pen, Dexcom machine, that I'm pretty sure there's a machine that you put it in and it releases when the child needs the insulin, or the pen. So SJ's on the pen. I will go and grab them and I'll show you real quick. Alright, so when you leave the hospital after being discharged, you'll be sent home with 2 of these cases. So in one is a long-lasting. The long-lasting pen is basically morning and night. He has them. So this is the pen. So there's a little screen here. I don't know if my camera will click, but it's a dialage. It goes 1 up to 30. So he can have 30 units. He can have 10 units if he needed it. But he is set at 3. So we basically dial it to 3. So I don't know if it will click in there. Click at 3, push the pen in. When the needle is, obviously. So we pull off the top. So in there is a glass vial of his insulin. We screw the needle on, pull it back, prime it to what he needs it, and push it in, and then we dial it back with it. Talk to SJ and be like, okay, are you ready? If he gets really, because he is special needs, he does have a case of DLD, which is developmental learning disorder. So it's a cognitive, basically, difficulty where you can talk to him and he doesn't understand you quite there. So we have to basically work with his speed, and obviously he has gone to treatment for these. So this is the rapid pen. It's the red one. Same thing, but you give it to him if he has over 15 grams of carbs. So basically, same thing, glass vial inside. It has the dial up there, putting the needle on, prime it, and then basically ask him, is he ready for it, if he wants to eat. So that will help basically produce the body's insulin to break down the food that he will eat that's over 15. Just got to wait. Alright, so the other thing with SJ, there's little machines that you can get, which is the Dexcom or the Libra, which he's got the Libra. It is basically in his body. There is an app that we can go to, which is Libra Link. So basically, it's just an app. Put your phone to the app.
Mom, that's why I drink a lot.
Right. Don't drink too much water. Go and sit down if you want. Just get your schoolwork and do. Bring your schoolwork here and we'll look over it. So he's sitting at a nice 10. So that's in the green, which is great. So he's gone from 15 down to 10 in the last 2 hours due to the red insulin. Give me 2 seconds. There will be a video of me showing you how I dial it up, prime it, and then give it to my son. For that, there may be a trigger warning. It's not really a big needle. It's a really tiny, smaller than my pinky nail needle. Wait. Video, okay? Yes, just stop. I've got to read it first. SJ. We'll work on it as soon as the video is done. Parenting, right? So there is a lot to take on. There's a lot of emotion. There is a lot to take in with type 1 diabetes. It's a big step. It's a big change. So basically, if you were diagnosed with diabetes, which SJ is diagnosed with, it's where you'll be referred to a diabetes care team and specialist treatment and the monitoring. His body can't produce the insulin, basically, so you'll need to regular injections, glucose levels normal. You'll be taught how to do this to match the insulin you inject from the food, which being carbohydrate. Taking into account of your glucose level and how much exercise you do. So he's a very active child. So for that, there is complications if the diabetes were left untreated. There can be really damaging lifelong issues. 48%. He wants his phone. And that's where his games are, basically, because he's not at school, because we've only just got out of hospital. We have to do a care plan with the school. Can you go sit down? I'll call you when it's done. So there is a lot, basically, for that. With SJ, he's a very hyper kid. He loves his gaming. He loves jumping in with my streams. He loves getting in games with my streams as well. He plays some Minecraft. He plays Forza with us. He plays Call of Duty with us as well. He's a very Minecrafty type of child. So with diabetes, there's going to be a little bit of a change to your diet. So you have to carb count, you have to eat a little bit more healthier, low carb kind of foods, basically like that. So type 1 diabetes, it's going to be hard. I am reading off a screen in front of me. I'm also autistic and ADHD, so that's why I'm not really looking correctly at the camera. I'm like looking off just to the screen. There is a lot. You have to be patient. You have to basically take day by day, take baby steps, work together if you're with your partner, work together, not against each other. Work work together and carb count together or food prep together with the child or for yourself that if you're diabetic. It's not easy. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It's not fucking easy at all. Excuse my language. Um, there is a lot of emotion being 3 nights in ICU and then 2 nights in general ward. ICU was a bitch. It was all touch and go. I couldn't really leave because Ronan's ghost, which is SJ's stepdad, had the younger brother at home because being in ICU, you're limited. I did go home for on the second night of ICU, have a shower, have a feed, and then go back into hospital and then basically switch out with Mr. Ronan's. Third night, I think no, fourth night it was the first night in general ward. I went home. I literally bawled my eyes out. I cried and I fucking cried. Because it's okay to grieve the loss of your healthy child or your healthy self once you're diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. It's hard. Especially with a child with special needs. It's very challenging. You have to really break it down to a child so that they can get an understanding of what's going on. And trust me, it is hard. With SJ being DLD, which is developmental learning disorder, it's a cognitive issue where you can talk to him, but his brain's not processing it to where he needs to understand. So now he does his own finger pricks. We've got him used to doing those. It's just a little prick all over Red Rover. All done. And he sits there. He sat there on the general ward when the nurses were doing his bloods every 2-3 hours, checking his levels. He was coming back being really happy, being sarcastic, going, "He stopped stealing my blood," and it was a lot. And we were just sitting back having a laugh at, oh, the nurse is here, steal my blood again, mum, and I just went, "Is what they have to do?" And then he's like, "I'll do it," and he just sits there and closes his eyes and rolls his eyes once the prick has happened. It's very challenging. It is a lot on the emotional side. It's a lot on the mental side. When you're in hospital, they do offer psychologists and support teams. So take them. If your child is recently diagnosed, please take it because they help you get an understanding. They talk to you about, how to cope and everything like that. This is day one being home and I'm already overwhelmed. It's very hard because my child just wants to eat and eat. But he can't because too much carbs. I can't correct the dose for another 2 hours basically. So he would go on a high and we can't have a high because he'll go back to hospital. He will be going back to school after we get a school plan involved. So we see our dietitian educator on this Friday so we can get a care plan going for school. And then we take that to school, have a meeting with the principal, the special needs, and the nurse and his teacher so that we're all on the same page. The school will be getting 2 to 3 packs of hyper packs. So if his sugar drops low, SJ can turn that down a fraction. So if SJ's sugar drop and they drop low, they can offer him jelly beans, and then 15 minutes later test his sugar. If it's still low, give him his popper. If it's still low from that, he can have, half a quarter of a sandwich to bring his sugar level up. So that means his glucose level. I'm trying to wrap my head around of what I need to talk about. So he will have his pens morning and night, and rapid being the red pen, as you would saw earlier in this video, before he has too much carbs. So you inject them before they eat, say, sandwich and a banana, because it's over the 15-gram kind of thing. So, for that being said, if he's too low, unconscious, you can't wake him, he's sweating, anything like that, that's a low. We've got a needle and a little vial where we put the fluid into the vial, rotate it around so it all, like the powdery, dissolves, and then we syringe it back out and jab it into his muscle, being his legs or his arms. So with that, it will actually boost his glucose levels, and we have to call 000 at that point. And say type 1 diabetic, and then go with what the emergency service will provide the information then. So we're going to be talking to his class about SJ's needs, that he can't eat other people's foods because he has to eat his own specific food. There is a whole bit of a diet change, yes, but you don't have to drastically change your diet at home, basically. So we have lamb chops, steaks, savory mince. Sometimes we make homemade pizzas. We just count the carbs, put the insulin amount that he needs into his body, and he can eat. So takeaway, because we usually do takeaway once every 3 to 4 weeks as a good behavior reward for both our boys. They get to pick one night each, basically. So if they want to do Friday, Saturday, or Saturday, Sunday, they can do it that way. It's going to be a lot more challenging because we have to count the carbs. So we might do our homemade takeaway. So we obviously count the carbs ourselves and do it together, basically. It's going to be hard. I'm not going to sugarcoat it anymore. It's going to be fucking hard. Use the language again. If you do have support, like family support or friends support that do have type 1 diabetes, please ask them for help. Like recipes for food, basically. So I brought a lot of new things for SJ to try. I've brought a low carb meal plan. So it's a book full of recipes for nighttime, and we can work together as a family and with him what he would like to try and eat. It's going to be hard. It's going to be challenging, but it's going to get there. It's going to be day by day. Please take your time with diabetes. Don't rush into it. Don't feel like it is overwhelming, but please do remember, let that feeling out. If you have to cry, cry. If you have to scream, fucking scream. Do whatever, it will help. Basically, if you smoke, drink. Have a drink, have a smoke to calm down. I came home and I just screamed into my pillow and burst into tears. I rang my mum and like, what am I meant to do? Like, I'm so overwhelmed. Because my head was so flooded with my emotion and all the information, talking to the diabetic educators. It was a lot to take in, really, at a rapid pace. Yeah. I'm trying to like just basically explain why I haven't been around, why I haven't been screaming, gaming, because I was in ICU as a child due to type 1 diabetes. I'm trying to gonna try and raise the awareness of type 1 diabetics children, especially children with special needs. Try and do some videos every day, basically, of how we are managing and how he is coping, and like what he eats, basically, and how much injection, like unit for insulin them. Sorry, I'm not looking at the camera and I'm a little bit fidgety. I'm still trying to process and do this video up so that I can actually get it out for people to know and to basically to chill out and listen to how we cope with everything. So there will be a little link in my streams. There's going to be a link in my Discord if anyone wants to basically donate to help us because we had to take time off work, which put us back. So there will be a link if you want to donate or anything like that. There will be a link for that. So yes, appreciate the fuck out of all the support that I've copped over on Twitter, my Discord, Facebook. I do appreciate for all the family and friends that are in our circle, for all of that as well. So big thumbs up. Thank you guys. Please work with me and not against me with my streaming. I don't know. I'm hoping to stream when Mr. Ronan's Ghost is home. At the moment, it is Wednesday, 1:30 in the afternoon here. He's asleep for night shift, so I'm basically home trying to food prep and do this video for you guys. So because I know a lot of you are waiting for this video to know exactly some parts to it. I will be around. If you don't see me streaming, I'll be in streams, I'll be in Discord, I'll be in some games. If you see me on, just send me a message, see what I'm up to. Please reach out if you want a game, because knowing me with my emotion, I just want to scream, I'll shout, I'll just want to, play a game with my friends. Just to sidetrack myself that little bit to get through the day. So again, thank you for listening about type 1 diabetes with my child. It's got nothing, again, please know it's not about lifestyle, it's about the genetic side of things. It happens. It's nothing that you do as parents or you do as yourself, basically. Type 1 is a bitch. I'll say that now. It's going to be hard. It's going to be a long process. So it's got nothing to do with how much lollies he's eaten in the past, how much soft drink he's drank in the past, or takeaway. It's got nothing to do with that. It's all genetic for now, because my parents are type 1 and type 2. The grandparents are type 1 and type 2. It's all down the family line of diabetes. My grandmother, who passed away from cancer, had type 1 diabetes as well. So, and my grandmother on my dad's side is type 2 diabetic. So it's there. It's, please, if you're worried about potentially having diabetes, go and get tested. There's nothing wrong with getting tested if you're concerned. So be smart, get checked out. If you have any concerns, please reach out to your GP. If you want to talk about advice, or if anyone is watching that has a child that has diabetes and is special needs, please, my DMs are open. I'm here to talk. I can do questions and everything in regards to it. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.